All right, so round two, we are going to do a hunt around the
Oh,
board.
oh,
We
oh,
like
oh, 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 oh,
what,
oh, oh,
what,
oh,
what?
oh, 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 oh.
Real hot.
There you go.
So hot right now.
Thank you.
That's hot.
We could not progress without that song. Thank you, Andy.
True.
Well, normally we like to do great game debates and we take a look at old games that don't get enough attention, but we want to let you know if you should like these games. But the Hot and Not section is the rare times we actually play the newest and the hottest games. And since we have a very diverse group of people on this show who like all different types of games, we're going to tell you which ones of us think that it's hot and which ones think it's not, and then you can decide if you agree with us or not. And then maybe if you're playing with a person like Chris, then you know, oh well, Chris liked or didn't like this game, maybe I shouldn't. So that's what Hot or Not is about. But today we are doing the gang, and we're going to do this in a little different way. Instead of giving us a minute and a half to talk about it and then going back and forth, we're going to kind of break it down a little bit, and I'm going to throw it to individuals. So before I get into it, we're going to learn how to play the game. That was a quick overview of the game. If you really want to know how to play, go watch another channel because we don't teach you how to play the game. We just want to show it to you real quick. So let's start this off. Obviously, you may have noticed that the gang is very similar to poker. It's cooperative poker, is what it is. And there's a couple of us on this show who really enjoy poker. I am not one of them, but Chris is one of them. So, Chris and Kelly, you're going to tell us the connection this has to poker and how you feel how it succeeded or didn't succeed in that.
It uses a 52 card deck and you make poker hands, but that's it. Which is why when you were saying it's basically poker, I was like, because it's really not. Like it's
What?
really you're really not playing. I mean, you have the flop come out, you have the turn, you have the river, and that kind of thing. But it's like you're not playing actually poker. Like I know you're like, what are you talking about, Chris? But really, like when he said, I was like, no, it's really not poker at all. You're making you are going through the motions of Texas Hold'em. Yes, 100%. But like what you're doing is trying to put yourself in order, which is not how poker works. So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe this is a bad answer. But I'm
Chris,
just saying, like, it's not
that's terrible.
Terrible.
Normally I listen to you, Chris, but this is poker. This is first of all, it's Texas Hold'em.
sure.
That's a version of poker. There's many versions of poker.
Oh, right.
But Texas Hold'em, one of the most popular, and this is cooperative Texas Hold'em, which makes it kind of interesting. But anyway, I digress. I just had to interrupt and say that Chris was wrong. Kelly,
Yeah.
what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, Kelly, set him right.
I shall. I mean, like already mentioned, it is Texas Hold'em. You literally in your description describe Texas Hold'em. What is more poker than that? You have to have poker hands. And yes, the cooperative part is you can't really talk to each other and you have to get your worst hand to highest hand. So that is the cooperative part, but it is pure poker.
I'm gonna.
Like again, don't misunderstand. Like I mean, I think this game is like fantastic. Like I've really soured on cooperative games over the years, especially the last few years. But like this game is fantastic. I love poker. So from a person who loves Texas Hold'em, this is a fantastic and awesome experience. But like I guess it's fair. I guess it's the answer is yes, it's Texas Hold'em that is cooperative, which is
So
something that doesn't make any sense, right?
I
Like
think-
it's possibly not the same thing because it's so different. But yeah,
I think I know what Chris is getting at here. Maybe I may have found what he's talking about.
Okay.
sure.
So the reason as a former big time, not big time, but played a lot of Texas Hold'em myself.
Right.
There are two types of Texas Hold'em. There's Texas Hold'em when there's nothing on the line, and there's Texas Hold'em when there's something on the line. And when there's something on the line, whether it's a $5 buy-in or we did even like games with like gift certificates and stuff like that, it makes it so much better. So, and maybe in that sense, there's no money in this game. Is that what you're getting at? Kind of, there's no.
No, it's not the money thing because
Okay.
I can play for free just as competitive if it was for like $100,000 or Ritz for free. I'm going to play the same because I just want to win. But like
Well-
it's again the only way to describe it truly is though. I mean, again, we should have just said this at the beginning, like which we kind of did, is you're somehow taking something that's inherently not cooperative and competitive at the highest level and have made it cooperative. So obviously it's like completely different, but at the same time, it literally is all you have to do is tell someone it's Texas Hold'em, but cooperative, and they're going to look at you like you have 7 heads immediately, because that's what I did when it was told to me. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, well, you just try to put in order without talking to each other. I think I have the lowest hand. I think I have the highest hand." I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then
So
we played it, and it was fantastic.
what I find interesting about the gang is that as the cards come out, so you've got your pre-flop cards,
Yes.
and you then try and order your cards and who's got the best hand or the lowest hand. You can't give specifics, but you've got to try and do that. And then as the flop comes out, you then rework it and see. Well, I thought I had a good hand, but now I don't. So, for instance, if I had an ace king and a I don't know 2-2-4 came out, I mean, I still might have a good hand, but not as good as I thought I might have. So you rework it every time more cards come out, which I find fascinating and interesting, which you do in regular poker too. But I think what I like the most about the gang is, and I think what it's the most beneficial for, is I think it's a great way to play with a bunch of people and then go play real Texas Hold'em afterwards because you know how they think.
Oh, well, I thought you were saying teach the game because it's a kind of a good way to teach the game. But yeah,
It is
like,
a good way to teach the game too, but
Yeah, but
I
it's
would love to
actually
do it. Just play with a bunch, and then I
Yeah.
go, okay, so that's
Well,
how Chris plays.
I'm
But
glad you brought up
he
teaching
also
the
knows I play.
Yeah, I was glad you brought up teaching the game because that's where I was going to go with this next. How easy is this to understand? Because I've played poker quite a lot in my life, and not I shouldn't say quite a lot. I had a moment where I did, and I will honestly say I never quite understood the priority of the hands. It's full house is good, a straight is good, a flush is good, but like which one's better than the other? This game actually really shows you what that is and lets you understand that because that was a really hard thing when I sat down the first time and played this game. I was like, I don't know if I have a good hand or not. I was like, I
So I'm
don't.
going to call BS on something you said there
Oh,
because you
what's
said
that?
I've played quite a lot of
No,
poker.
okay.
You have not played quite a lot of
No,
poker if you don't know how the hands work.
You're right. No, well, I put on a good poker face and pretended that I knew what I was doing.
So you played poker without knowing what you were doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Okay.
And this taught me. So the first hand I played of this, I was like, man, this is tough. I don't understand what's going on and everything. But then they gave me a little player aid and it showed me the order in which everything is supposed to be. And all of a sudden I was like, this game makes so much more sense. And I enjoyed it a lot more because of that.
Man, I wish I had played poker with you before the gang when there was something on the line because
Yeah, well,
Becca.
yeah, you would have gotten an easy win for sure. All right, well,
Yeah,
next one we're gonna
so I
move.
do want to jump in here and
Yeah.
say something for like people that are poker players. Like, what really sets us apart, makes it interesting, is not only is obviously it's completely different because it's a cooperative game, but like what really it makes it extremely interesting is like in normal poker, right? You dealt 7-2 and you're not the big blind. You're just mucking the cards and moving on, waiting for the next hand. Not this game. Like, no matter what your hand is, you have to play it. So if you're playing a 6-player game, I think it goes to 6-player normally, right?
I think it goes up to
Yes.
6. Yeah.
Well, okay, sorry, spoilers for those at home. The reason I asked that question is because we played, I know, with at least 7, and we used like additional pieces so we could play with more people, which makes it exponentially more difficult. But man, was it awesome! But that's another story. And those extra pieces I actually thought might have been originally with the game, which I thought was extra cool because they were like these little like bouncy
Plastic
frog
frogs,
plastic
yeah.
things you get out at the quarter machine.
And
but
gold
whatever.
coins.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, this is super unhinged and weird. And they're like, oh no, that was from a junk drawer. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, either way, cool. Anyways, so you can make this, well, spoilers kind of leads to other things we're talking about later, but you can play this with a lot of people, just add some additional components, but regardless.
Well, and tell me, guys, because I only played it a few times, and I think we just played the basic. There are scenarios that come up too, right?
Mhm.
Like the Crew and Lord of the Rings.
It's not so much scenarios, it's if you pass or fail. So if you fail, you get a scenario that might make it easier. So that's where I was actually going to defend Chris a little bit, where it can stray from poker because, like, there's stuff like, oh, you can pick a person to throw away their first 2 cards and get new ones. So obviously that strays from regular poker. And then if you do well, then they might add something that makes it harder because there's chips involved, but the chips are used in a much different way because it's more Hanabi style of I'm taking a 1 because I think I have a really bad hand, and then you see the flop and then like, oh, all of a sudden I'm a 4. So you're sitting there going, okay, their hand improved, but how much compared to other people? And that part is the part I love about the game.
Yeah, you got to get into that feeling of a game like The Mind, where you just are trying to. Are you sure? Are you sure you've got a good hand? It's real interesting. It's fascinating.
But yeah, but again, what I was trying to say is like the fact that like every hand has to be played through the river is what really kind of like
Yeah,
makes the game
yeah.
super interesting. Is no one's like, oh no, I'm out. Like,
Mhm.
no, you're got 6 hands all the way through the river, and you got to figure out on that after the river 1 through 6 in how good the hand is, and it's really good.
Right. This is where I need to step in here because this is actually the reason I did not enjoy the game as much. So I enjoyed the experience of the game, playing it with friends. This is one of those games you can laugh at and have fun with, but I didn't necessarily enjoy it, if that makes sense. And
Hmm.
one of the reasons is because of what Chris just said. You have to play it to the end, which ultimately what that means is every game almost ends the same. It's like you start off going, oh, I only have a 2 and a 3. That hand is horrible. And then you get to the 5, and then all of a sudden you have 2 2s and 2 3s, and you're like, oh, I actually have a better hand now. And in the end, like every game or a straight, that's the one that really almost always happens is that somebody started with a 5 and a 7, and then a 6 comes out, then a 4 comes out, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna suck." And then the 5 comes out in the last round, and then you're like, "Yes, I got the 5. I'm gonna win now." And it's and it always plays the same way. In poker, people bail out, so you never get to see that straight win as often as it does in here. But here, I feel like the straight wins more times than it doesn't. And to me, it just, after a while, I'm like, this is literally the same result every time we play.
But see, it depends on who you play with. Like anything, if you play with a regular group, that's what makes it also a little bit interesting. And it's also as interesting when you play with new people every time because I've had games where there were several straights and we had to figure out who was the higher straight versus lower straight. And once again, that's the basis of paying attention. What chips they take throughout, the dramatic changes or the fights back and forth. Like, no, I'm the 2, you are not the 2, and then deciding, am I going to let them have that or are we going to keep going? Like that's the fun tension filled part that I really enjoy.
I
That's
can I
true.
can kind of see a little bit of what you're saying, Daniel, after you explained it fully, but I still think it's a blast. It's still a really good game.
Yeah. So, well, let's
And
give our
I
final
just want
thoughts.
to add one thing. So I just want to highlight, and this is a huge trophy for me, is I got Andy to not only play, but genuinely love a cooperative game. And we all
Yeah.
know he hates them. And like now he freely talks about it. So the great wall has been broken.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
You've
right.
chipped through my icy heart.
All right.
So
So,
I've only played with a limited number of people, but I will say that I have not played a person that I respect their chops in poker that has played this game that didn't love it. Like
yeah.
I've like every person that like I know that is a real poker player that's played this game loves it. So it's really good, and like I haven't played with a table of just hardcore poker players. I would love to do that. I think it would be super interesting. I think you would have to almost add some additional rules to make it more difficult for you, like literally zero talking. Like there, like you can talk in this game, just not, it's almost like the don't say the word on the card from Time's Up or whatever, but you can
Yeah.
talk kind of generally. If you're playing with a table full of hardcore poker people, I think the literally answer is zero talking, purely the chips, because then it could just be a little too easy with good poker players. But regardless, it's fantastic. And again,
Yeah.
I've not heard from anyone that I respect their play of poker that didn't love it. So
That's a good point. Okay, let's go around real quick. And Andy, give us your final thoughts on it. Hot or not? And what's your favorite poker hand?
Final thoughts. Well, this is hot. This is definitely hot for me. It's hot, 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 baby. And I didn't think it would be when I first heard about it because, like Chris, I was like, what? Cooperative poker? Poker's the most cutthroat, competitive game there is. But it actually works. I got to hand it to the designer because this is a game where they've taken essentially components that most people have, but they've made it in such a great design that it's worth buying and supporting them just for their creative work in this and coming up with the idea. So I hope people do buy it because it's not very expensive either.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna say for me personally, it's a not. I will play this game. I will even have fun with it when I'm playing it with friends, but I don't need to play it again. I'm not gonna ask for it again. It's poker, man. If you love poker, I think you'll like this game a lot. If you are like me, who always just like flailed through poker and said, okay, whatever, I guess I'll play it because that's what everyone else is doing. I don't think this is going to change it for you unless you super duper duper love the whole aspect of games where you're like trying to be subtle about your like when you're doing co-ops and you're like, no, mine's better. No, mine is better. And then that little like silent argument that happens. Other than that, that's the only thing that I enjoy enjoyed from it. So it's a not for me. What about you, Kelly?
It is most certainly hot, hot, hot. Everywhere I've taken it, it has just gone on like gangbusters, and I thoroughly enjoy playing it. And I did want to add from earlier, I think something, and I can't recall if this is even official rule, but a lot of the groups I played with, we will allow talking about what we think about other people's hands as long as we're not talking about our own. So I think that's a little bit more interesting than if we were all silent. I feel like that would take away some of the fun of the game.
I will say when you do that though, you risk. It's like any cooperative game like that where there's silence. It risks if you're talking about their hand. If they give any kind of like smile or something like that, that could give it away pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I can see
Yeah,
where that would hurt it.
it's a
Actually.
little alpha gamery in that position. So I'm glad you actually said that because I'd agree with that. But Chris, what do you got? What's your final take?
But I was just gonna respond to that real quick. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with that, and like, especially depends on the table, right? Like, if you're playing with a bunch of people that don't know how to play, like Daniel's at the table, then it's fantastic. But then doing stuff like it's great. I'm just saying, like, I feel like if you're playing with a table of a bunch of hardcore players, you might have to like add your own rules, but you know what I'm saying, like make your own things to make it a little more interesting, or it just might be a little too easy. But the answer is this. It's a 10. It's an
Oh.
absolute 10. It's the first 10 that I have seen the first time. Like the moment I played it, the first time I was like, this is a 10. That I can't remember the last time I played a game that immediately I was like, yeah, it's a 10. It's not even a question. Like,
Wow.
I think we were in the second round of like the turn when I was like, yeah, this is 10. This game is incredible.
There you go. And
Um,
for those of you who don't think Chris likes board games, there you go. He just gave a brand new game a 10.
Oh, we didn't do our poker hands. I totally missed that.
What's your favorite poker hand?
My favorite poker hand is a ace king offsuit. You know what it's called?
No, I have no idea.
Anna Kournikova. An Anna Kournikova. It's a dated reference at this point, but Anna Kournikova.
Why is it
it's
called
very
that,
good.
Andy?
Yes.
Looks great, plays terrible.
Oh, you lost a point for that. All right, guys. Well, there you go. The Gang. It's one of the new hot games that are out right now. Whether or not you agree with me, you can agree with the other three and really the populace at large. It is a hot game for sure. But you really do have to like poker, I think, at least a little bit. And I've never been a fan of it. So let us know have you played The Gang yet? Leave us a comment. Let us know. Do you think it's hot? Do you think it's not? Is this a flash in the pan or is it here to stay? All right. And after that, we got done with 2 rounds. The scores, Chris and Kelly are tied with 11. I'm next at 10 and Andy's at 9. He did have 10, but he kind of said a pretty bad joke about the Anna Kournikova. Nobody even knows who that is. Come on,
Anna
Andy.
Kournikova.
Nah.
Not Kovic. It's everybody knows who that is. Come on.
Ah. All right.
Did she marry Sergei Fedorov?
Yeah, and we know who that is too.
Wait, is that really true?
Yeah, it's true. Or was it Pavel Bure? I don't know.
I didn't know she married anyone that mattered.
She married a Russian hockey player, and she's a Russian tennis player. We're deep
All right.
diving here. Deep diving.
Thank you for watching this clip from Around the Board. If you'd like to watch the full episode, please click on the link down below. Around the Board is essentially a game show featuring 4 board game enthusiasts that discuss board game topics and news in a competitive format. Whoever wins gets to talk about whatever he wants at the end of the show. So please join us, won't you, Around the Board.